Good morning, everyone. Getting ready to pray another prayer of True Fathers to our Heavenly Parent. I had an interesting experience yesterday on my birthday. I did do some cleaning and washing dishes and all that, cooking, and I put on some Christmas music, old time Christmas music. After every song, there was a commercial, two commercials. And about after the third song, I go, man, that is so annoying. It's old timey Christmas music. Who listens to that? Per se? Okay. Obviously, a lot of people. As I said, I was kind of upset. Why is there why can't I 3 hours, of Christmas music and this on YouTube? Okay. Why can't I just listen to these songs without these interruptions? It's not like, right, so many people. The third time after I skipped the commercials and walked back to the sink, I was stopped. Okay, what did you just do? You missed something here in this give and take with the music, with the time, with the commercials. And I laid my hand over my heart because I realized you were just doing just that. And suddenly it's like, oh, how wonderful. Why would there be, after every song, these commercials if a lot of people were listening to it, right? Where are the commercials? The commercials want to reach the most people. And I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, what a lot of people in this country, maybe around the world, they're still listening to these old time Christmas songs where baby Jesus is in it. God is in it. The birth of Christ, our Holy Family, and whatever went around it. Oh, and suddenly I got, oh, that's wonderful. And I thought, well, let's see. So I went to my mix that has, for example, Oh My Soul, Christian songs. This same thing. It's the same thing after every song. Going, oh, do you know what that means? Yes, yes. One can see one thing, a beautiful thing that is happening all around you in one way or another, when you have to deal with then as well, right? With what, right? That wants to kind of stop you or get you in a mood where you do not want to be. But when you realize what's really going on, you're going, oh, you accept, right? The commercial part. Anyway, I thought I shared that. It was one of those, again, it was my birthday yesterday, and here I get, after I realized that, I got this like, oh my gosh, that was a present from my guardian angel who said, guard your thoughts, guard your mind, right? That it always goes in the right direction so you can recognize the beautiful things that are going on out there because of people, right, all around the world who are rejoicing during this time. Ha! There's a lot of them. Wonderful. One just, pays attention. It took 3 songs for me to finally say, okay. If the path leads, this is True Father's book, his prayers, heart. If the path leads to the heavenly palace, we would follow it even though it be a path of tears. We know that Jesus and God had no respite from sorrow, as they related to humankind. When we reflect on Jesus' life 2,000 years ago, we know that he shed tears with others knew nothing about. When we reflect on Jesus' life 2,000 years ago, we know that he shed tears which others knew nothing about. Yeah. We don't really get to see that, do we? We didn't get to see that. Somehow that's not registered anywhere. Right? Only someone like true father or true mother who are that close to Jesus would know about that. Right? Yes. He lived a starving life which others knew nothing about. He wept bitterly while going a course of persecution others knew nothing about. I find that people love to blab about their miseries out there, about this and that, and I don't know what. And it's not, I love testimonies of that is where I was, and this is how far I have come. That's different to me. But the continued just misery, blah, 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 just that, and oh my God, and da, da. It's boring to me. It just is. That is why Jesus had so much goodness to give, tried to teach people. It wasn't just that he wanted to be glorified, this and that, as the Son of God. He taught people. Look at the Bible. Look at the New Testament. Consider the Old Testament, which is this big, and then the New Testament, this big, and look at all the guidance and teachings that are in there. Incredible. Yeah. Well, anyway. Jesus trod this kind of path, and the many saints who followed behind him were not concerned about walking a path of blood. We know the fact that they struggled forward, not being concerned even about the path of death. This is a really good one. No one likes to put their own surroundings in danger, right? No one likes to do that. And because of our concerns for our families, our children, ourselves, per se, people around us maybe as well, we hesitate. We hesitate and we are worried what others might think, this and that. Yes, we all struggle with that. We all do. True father always he just some things that he did yeah, every time he would talk I just look at him and go, man, you got the ego the size of a planet or something. But I liked what he had to say. He knows. And then he would talk for hours and hours and hours while people just sat there and kind of snooze stuff. Oh, I'm awake again. Well, it was so hard, and it's not, going. I was never there in one of those sessions. Okay, I was never there. I just attended some conventions, this, that, but as far as sitting there, as a member, in a room, and he would just talk for hours and hours, and I was never there. So I don't have that experience, do I? But from what I have seen, it's like, holy cannoli. It's, yeah. It's like, just, wow. I feel for myself The union of true parents, true father, and true mother, they complement each other so well. I saw a post where it was said, okay, on how true mother was chosen, this snap. True mother was chosen. True father was chosen. Exactly in the way that true father as well put couples together, right? Yes? Yeah. And it's just interesting. Interesting to me that exuberant energy that true father had, right? Combined with that calm, a little bit more down to earth energy of true mothers, right? Yes. I mean, there are all these stories out there, of on how their life was. And every one of these stories, I'm looking at and going, whew, there's a reason they're called the true parents, right? Yes. Anywho, so we should, yeah, what? True father tried to, well, you have to be humble. You have got to be selfless. This, not, right? Yes. But at the same time, that does not include that you are not a voice out there. Be that voice out there. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Never be afraid to teach the word of God. Never be afraid to teach people about the blessing of true parents. Never be afraid. Do not. Yeah. Let's continue on. So true father taught me how to talk. He taught me to, right? You just. The path to the palace of heaven is the path of the cross. Therefore, please allow us to understand that each one must go to the top of Golgotha carrying his cross on his back, and each must experience persecution, even going to the point of shedding blood on the cross. We earnestly hope and desire, Father, that you will allow us to understand that heaven is looking for people who forget about themselves, who forget about their own sorrows, who forget about their own pain, and who are giving their all today and tomorrow to go the path of Golgotha. Again, so we have to sacrifice. We have to. No, that's not what this is. In order for us to be in society, in order for us to be even in our family, we give in. Right? We give in to certain things that suddenly enter our life. Right? We give in to things that are happening in economics. We give in to things that are happening in science. We give in to things that are happening in politics, and we give in to things that are happening in religion. The path of Golgotha is to know 100% what is right and what is wrong, and that the right needs to be elevated and the wrong needs to be restored. The wrong needs to be abolished. Okay, abolished how? Again, you see, by teaching, by gaining ground. I had this experience while I was doing the rosary for a year, praying the rosary at a Catholic church. And I sat there, and at that time, there was something going on somewhere in the world where extremists were taking over, and there was it was a war going on somewhere. And it was very devastating for the people that lived there. And while I was sitting there, I was praying the rosary with everyone and going, Father, there's got to be a way. Show me a way to help with that. There was, and suddenly I saw the line of offense where people were trying to attack another people, and suddenly there was this line of angels that were so bright and strong and held this line between the two people, the one that was attacking and the one that was defending. There was nothing that they had to defend themselves with. There was this line, and it just held ground. And it was so bright, the light was so bright, that the offending party wasn't able, they didn't know where to go anymore. They were so blinded that they couldn't do anything anymore. Oh, I'm watching this in this vision while I'm praying the rosary and go, oh my gosh, wow, this is actually possible. How is this possible? You have to be brighter. We have to be brighter than anything else out there. Sometimes I get accused, well, you don't understand. I say, no, I understand perfectly. You do not get to do that. I do not take away love that someone else feels for someone else or has, and it isn't quite a part of the cycle of life. I'm not doing that. What I have to do and I have to step in is when a child is at risk. When suddenly things go so far that, and there's no boundaries anymore. Boundaries? Then I have to step in. In the meantime, all you can do is teach. Why does that exist? Why does homosexuality exist? Why does pedophilia exist? That's the best thing I can do, to give the information out there. You are not in control over the principles of love in your own life. You've been taken over by something. Well, anyway, so that is, right? That is what we do. Then we become these bright people out there. Right? That is where, you think, yeah. As I said, oof. Sometimes I say something, I said it the next day, and I've already gone, oh, there's going to be some backlash going on here. That might backfire something. And the odd thing is, sometimes it does, but it's very rare. It is very rare now that it backfires. It's very rare. Takes a lot of knowledge from the heart to the mind, to be able to see a comment or this or that. Look, okay, where's the actual problem? And then, rather than, I don't need to defend myself in any way. Never. That's not going to do that. Then I'll just make excuses for what? No, this is how it is. I'm not going to change my mind about any of it. Not going to give in to, well, but certain types of times, when there's an abortion needed, and no, that's not an abortion. It could be a medical procedure to either save the child then, and if the mom was in an accident dying, the child could be saved. Okay, that's not an abortion, and you're saving a life. All the way around as well. You're saving a life. You're not. You see? Yeah, difference. Big difference there. And otherwise, no, I will never sanction an abortion. I will never support an abortion. I don't care. On how it is presented. It's always going to be wrong. For example, yes? Okay. There's many other things I could talk about, but, and again, if one cannot see on how someone with a heart to mind and a love for God and spirit world has something to give and say, and then they want to take it and be offended by it, then they, for the number one thing, you see, just like with the songs that I said, right, to begin with, number one thing, step back, figure out, why are you offended? Why are you offended? Okay. Oh, Father, please allow us to understand the sorrow of Jesus, who has laid bare his sorrowful heart today in this age. There's no need to know Jesus just as the historical Jesus. The time has come when we must know the modern Jesus within our own circumstances. Therefore, please let us become a movement crying out only to heaven, filled only with hearts that will offer our minds and bodies in front of that noble, majestic heart, and in front of that love, whether we live or die. We know that this group is made up of people who have been chased on this earth, people who have been rejected by their religious bodies. We hope and desire that you will allow your sons and daughters who have gathered here to become a movement that is able to defend that kind of position to the death. The mind of heaven appeared through the mind of one person, and it had prepared a foundation of heart to unite 4,000 years of history. But because humankind destroyed and betrayed that, today humankind is in a wretched state. Father, please change the minds of the many people on this earth who do not know that their sorrow is your sorrow. I could say a whole lot here, right? Yes. I have found it interesting that in certain places within our own community, many struggle. The reason people struggle with certain things that are going on is because we're faltering. Right? Why are people constantly faltering? There's no need for that. If I see someone attacking True Father per se, then, or are being offended by something he said, or whatever, as I said, oh my gosh, if everyone were to give stock to what I say, okay, all right. If someone's attacking True Father, I will defend him. I am not going to be one of those quiet people. But how will I defend him? I think oftentimes we're asked to not interfere is because we are not ready to interfere. We're not ready to give the proper guidance to someone who needs it. So if we all just look at, yes, I got you. You're here because you need guidance. Rather than, and then the right kind of forth and back goes on between people, this and that, shows insecurity and immaturity on both sides. You see? Yes. You've got to be ready for someone, if they're attacking True Father or attacking True Mother, right, as specifically, then they're there to find clarity. You've got to think like that. I have to go back again to the Christmas music where, whew, how annoying, these commercials. Not realizing, oh my gosh, that's a good sign. That's a good sign, right? We've got to think more like that. You see? And then, you see, oh, what if someone comes in and says, yeah, but True Mother, she did not, and go in and say, it's good to see you here. Happy you're here. And, obviously you're here because you need some clarity or this or that. And then go in with your heart to mind to give a positive, not a confrontational, a positive example or truth per se that cannot be disputed. I saw one where someone came in and said, and I said what I had to say, and that was that. Then I don't go back in and try to, strengthen my stance or this or that. I'm not going to do that. I've already said everything. It doesn't matter what the other people have to say or what that particular person has to say. Went in and said that, well, God had to change certain things in the providence or restoration or he had to change things, right? In regards to thou shalt not commit adultery, for example, thou shalt not lie or be deceitful, thou shalt not. Okay, I'm sorry. No. Just because people decide to want to change the laws of heaven doesn't mean that's going to happen. And to use God, or to say, oh, well, yeah, he made a mistake here, so he's going to. No. You don't get to do that. You can try. You can absolutely try. And you know what? God will never stop you. He won't. He will. Our Heavenly Parent will not stop you and say, but child, what did you just do to me? How did you just present me? Because God loves every one of his children, every one of them, spirit world or on the physical world, and new ones born, this, that, and no one. He will give you every chance to come to the proper conclusions. You see? Yeah. So that is something I feel that we all can work on, right? Yes, there's going to be them commercials in there and all this good stuff, floating around, learning, 1 year after. There's going to be them commercials in there. Very annoying, right? Yes? But we need to know why these commercials are there. Realize why they are there, right? Yes? Okay. Please allow us to become a solitary movement that knows how to weep and build an altar for their sake. We know that Jacob also built an altar in the wilderness, as did Moses and Elijah as well. We know the fact that among our ancestors who took responsibility for the will of heaven, there was no one who did not tread that kind of course. You see? Yes. We're at the tail end of all that. A lot of things have already been restored. Lots of things have been taken care of. What we need to take care of now in this world, at this time, is the consequences that ruled this world for 6,000 years, just about. Consequences in especially the realm of love. Yeah. We're not walking that physically really exhausting way. This, not. It's our minds. How many mental health problems are out there? Yes. Yeah. Father, please do to not allow us. Please to not allow us to become people who are unfilial to you and leave during the time of suffering which remains. Even if we feel the sorrow of our Father who has carried out the providence, please do not allow us to become sons and daughters who cannot make it through this difficult period. Oh, well, if you just hang on. It's not about that. The difficult period is, how are we? How are we treating the people around us? How are we willing to restore? What are you restoring? Right? Right? Yeah? What a difficult path for true mother with some of the things that are going on in her own family. Well, she doesn't concentrate. So you think it's not on her mind? You think she's not crying when she's by herself? Huh? Okay, well, good. All right, happy for you all. I cannot imagine the suffering that she's going through when it comes to certain things that have happened in her own family. Very selfish of us to think everything's just hunky-dory there. Or, okay, well, anyway. We earnestly hope and desire that you will let us become sons and daughters who cast aside ourselves and are concerned for you, and who know how to comfort your heart and understand your situation. At this time, in our minds, we are not asking for anything that is not of you. Now we must walk beyond today's suffering and look towards the garden of promise, and we must long for the kingdom of heaven of eternal blessings. We know that the blessing of God which will appear are a position of inexpressibly great glory. Therefore, today, please allow us to become a movement of people whose hearts do not change in relation to you, whose hearts do not change in relation to you. Oh, we all love God, yet we decide to change one thing or another about God, right? You see, this is really what gets me. So, in order to fit God into your life, he's okay with you doing this or that, right? And you need to okay, well God had to change. Okay, so God changed things in a way that goes against the 10 commandments I'm supposed to follow 100%. Yet God gets to change them for whatever reason. Wow, that's weird. We don't get to do that. The laws of heaven never change. They don't change. What a mess it would be otherwise. Just think, well, but I have that little problem, so can we just switch that? I need that law to change a little so that then it fits into my restoration plan with my family. You see? We can't do that. And if we can portray that in a loving way per se, say, wait a minute, you don't get to do that. You can't do that. We stay firm. No, you do not get to change the laws of heaven. Right? Don't get to do that in any way. If you have a hard time knowing what that is, then look at the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are the laws of heaven. And they are the laws on earth. As it is in heaven, so it shall be on earth. You see? Yeah. Okay. Therefore, today, please allow us to become a movement of people whose hearts do not change in relation to you and who endure and remain to the end. We earnestly hope and desire that you will allow us to become sons and daughters who are able to fight to the end and stand before you, Father. Again, so true Father says, fight to the end. Does that mean with a weapon in your hands? How does true Father mean this? Who are able to fight to the end and stand before you, Father? Huh? Yes? With what? What do we fight with? What did true Father say in another prayer? Mouth, with your mouth. You fight with your mouth. How? Cussing and cursing? No, right? How do you fight for love? Huh? How do you fight for peace? Okay. And what kind of strength does it take? All right. We have prayed in the name of the Lord, true parents, Jesus, everyone out there. Amen. Adieu. Amen. Whoa. This prayer is from March 29th, 1959, before the blessing. Wow. What is it about True Father's prayers that are timeless? There's no time attached to it. There just isn't. That's because, yes, we're not done. We are not done. We're not done. But, yet, we're going to end again with what I experienced yesterday on YouTube. We all know YouTube likes a certain, yes, people. Yet here is YouTube and is making full, is taking full advantage of the fact that there must be so many people listening to old-timey Christmas music and Christian music. That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. We'll take the commercials. Yes? Besides, I've got plenty of Christmas song CDs. I could just pop that in. I won't have to listen to, right? Yes? But for one reason or another, I decided, and then I realized, oh my gosh, how wonderful. We have this wonderful thing all around the world in common of listening to old-time Christmas music with Jesus and the baby in it. The glory of God at that time. You see? Yes? Yeah? It's wonderful. It is wonderful. 10 more days, people. 10 more days. We got 10 days to prepare, right? We should be prepared every day, right? Yes, every day should be God's day. Every day to me is God's day. And of course, then everything's always included in it. Yes. That's why every baby, every child, every unborn baby, growing in that womb environment, every day you should think every day of that little baby Jesus. Yes? The suffering, I think that the path we have to go, that True Father talks about in his prayers often, is the bleeding of the heart, the suffering in the heart when you just realize, oh my gosh, no doubt Jesus cried many times in private, and while everybody was sleeping. No doubt, True Mother cries a lot, as well. I'll just cry with her, right? Yes, things will get better. I believe that with all my heart. Yes. Oh, I said, you go listen to Christmas music. All them commercials. But as I said, old-timey Christmas music. Not the newfangled stuff that's just about Santa Claus and all that. Jeez, people are trying to find back to that night when Jesus was born. It's a beautiful thing. Very grateful. I got that lesson, got that present yesterday. Lesson. It's wonderful to be loved by Spirit World. It's wonderful to be loved. Wonderful. God's love and blessings always. Now we'll talk to y'all another time.